Welcome back to another SUPboarder video. This week we're going to take a comparative look at the Red Paddle Co ride range and looking at their three main big players. We're going to look at the 9.8, the 10.6 and the 10.8, and we're going to talk about what the differences are of these boards and who should be buying what board. So a little bit about Red Paddle Co first. Well, Red Paddle Co started making SUPs back in 2008, very much early pioneers of the SUP technology and really helped it get to where it is today. They are always striving for the best quality of the boards, and that is definitely something you can see in the 2018 range here. While we're talking about quality, it's a good time to talk about construction of these boards because there are many SUPs on the market, and definitely Red Paddle Co have been pushing the quality of the construction of the board since they started back in 2008. Made with good quality nylon drop stitch and their MSL technology, which is where they sort of have multiple layers of PVC but all put on in one go, which reduces the weight of the board but keeps the strength and the stiffness of the boards up. The weights of these boards this year: the 9.8 weighs just under 10 kilograms, the 10.6 comes in at 10 kilograms, and the 10.8 comes in at 11 kilograms. There isn't a huge difference between the 9.8 and the 10.6 because the 9.8 has got RSS battens, which adds a little bit more weight for its size. All of the boards have quite a few things in common when it comes to features and fittings on the board. This year, big change for Red Paddle Co, their deck pads have got even more refined. Instead of having a diamond grip EVA deck pad, they've refined it and had little red logos all over the deck pad. It looks really, really neat, and it looks like it costs quite a lot of money as well. So actually it's quite a nice feature to have that sort of thing, and that sort of shows the difference between Red Paddle Co and many other brands. Other nice things this year: the carry handle's even more comfy and a little bit firmer to grip, but it still folds down nice and flat. The bungees for carrying stuff at the front are even bigger, so you can get even bigger loads on there. Great for putting stuff from little flip-flops up to full-on dry bags underneath. Stainless D-rings up at the noses there also have the ram mounts included, so you can get various sort of attachments that can screw onto your board. All the boards come with the same fin setup, which is their 3 indestructible eye fins. They've been using them on their boards for years, and I've never seen one break or been damaged to this day. The ride range has very much kept its continuity in colour, being the light and dark blue as they've had for several years, but this year, because it's their 10-year anniversary, they've come up with a special edition purple colour, which I really like, and it might be slightly girly for some guys, but actually it's a very good looking board. So that is only available in the 10.6, so just bear that in mind. That's the special edition. So before we look at the board sizes and shapes and who they're best for, let's have a quick look at the bag and pump. Red Paddle Co this year have just launched their Red Original range, which is a range of accessories that you can go alongside your paddleboard, from t-shirts to dry bags to cool bags, and we've got a full review of those coming soon, but you can guarantee the quality that goes into those goes into the standard bag you get with all the boards. Made with its heavy duty ripstop nylon, wheels on the bottom, handles, carry positions absolutely everywhere. The backpack itself is a very comfy backpack. Foam padding inside the main back area and foam padding around the lower area, where sometimes if you pack your board wrong, your fins might go in your kidneys and stuff. That stops all of that. But the big thing the backpack has done this year is you can undo all the Velcro, and you can tuck all your shoulder straps and your waist straps completely away and have a completely flush back to the bag. So if you're traveling or going in an airplane, you haven't got to worry about things catching and getting caught in various places. Inside the bag itself, it's got a silver lined, which is designed to reflect the heat, stop your board getting so hot inside. And also inside there is an area to put your 3-piece paddle, marked out nice and clearly, so you can slide it in, and there's bungees and clips to hold the paddles and the board down securely. So definitely the Red Paddle Co bag is the market leader still when it comes to the best bag on the market. Moving on to the Titan pump, it's a pump that really doesn't need much of an introduction. It is a award-winning pump in many trade shows. It was the first of its kind, as it's a double chamber, one-way pump, so you can pump it up on both chambers, pushing a large amount of air in your board at one time, and then when it gets hard work and you can't push down anymore, you can change the valve over and just select the smaller cylinder. So it is a great pump, tried and tested. We use it all the time for inflating stuff, and the hose also comes with lots of other attachments, so if you want to pump up other inflatable things like kite-saving kites and lilos, you can do that as well. Now you will find that when you're looking to buy a Red Paddle Co board this year, most boards will come as packages with leashes and paddles. The sort of standard paddle you would get is an aluminium 3-piece paddle, which is absolutely fine. We've done a full comparison of the Red Paddle Co paddle range on another video, so check that out. But as far as the retail price is concerned, as a package, the 9.8 retails at £849, the 10.6 retails at £849, and the 10.8 retails at £899. So let's have a look at the outline template of these boards and talk about who they'd be best for. So the big board we have here is the 10.8, then moving down to the 10.6, and then the smallest board on the range is a 9.8. The 10.8 is 34 inches wide, the 10.6 is 32 inches wide, and the 9.8 is 31 inches wide. So straight away, you can see that the 10.8 is going to give you way more stability. It's a bigger board, you can get more people on it, maybe you can put a dog or a little one on the front, or maybe even paddle 2 adults on this board if you want to play around. It's going to hold a lot more weight, and it's going to be a lot more stable in the water. Because of the overall size, it's got more volume, and it sits at 296 litres. It's going to be ideal for the heavier paddlers up to about 120 kilos, or for somebody who wants a bit more stability and they're not that confident. It is an all-round board that you could paddle in flat water and get into the surf on, but it isn't going to surf as well as the smaller other boards. So looking at the 10.6, because it's a little bit narrow in width at 32 wide compared to the 10.8, it's going to have a little bit more glide, it's going to paddle a little bit quicker and be easier to paddle in a straight line. It's going to surf a little better on the wave, but it's not going to be able to carry so much weight. Rider weight, probably about 100 to 105 kilos. The 10.6 is pretty much the go-to size when it comes to getting into paddleboarding, especially for a family. You can still get a kid on the front, you can still have enough stability, but you can still do a lot of all-round paddling. Moving on to the 9.8, you can see the outline shape, it's way more pulled in at the tail. For that, it does offer a bit more performance in the surf, and it makes the board way easier to turn around on the flat water. Being 31 wide, it's definitely not as stable as the 10.6 or 10.8, and it isn't going to have so much forward glide across the water as the 10.6 either. But if you're using it in the right body weight, it will probably take up to about 95 kilograms. But if you used it in maybe around the 75 kilograms, 70 kilograms, lighter rider, this board will perform really well comparatively to a heavier rider on the 10.6. So if you're a smaller person and you're after an all-round board, maybe look towards the 9.8 instead of the 10.6. Other things to bear in mind, the 10.6 and the 10.8 are both 4.7 inches thick, and the 9.8 is 3.9 inches thick, so almost 4 inches thick. Obviously the bigger the board, the more air you're going to take to pump it up, and the big difference that the 9.8 has got and the 10.6 and the 10.8 haven't got is the RSS batten, which is a hard glass fibre batten that goes down the side of the board and gives it a huge amount of stiffness, which is why they can reduce the thickness of the board. And because they can reduce the thickness of the board, it also helps it surf way better in the waves. So to give you a summary of the boards, the 10.8 can carry more weight or more people or more stuff. It's way more stable than the 10.6 and 9.8. The 10.6 is your go-to all-round family fun board, great for a multiple of users and doing lots of different things. The 9.8 will be best to a light to mid-weight rider, or for somebody who wants to get a bit more surf performance than the 10.6 will give you. So finishing off with pros and cons and value for money, well, quality is pretty much every single thing you see when you see a Red Paddle Co. From the board, the bag, the pump, the paddle, everything in a complete package is sheer quality. The board shapes themselves are all spot on and they'll suit many different types of paddlers' needs. And as for cons, we have got absolutely nothing wrong with these boards, and we can't give you any negatives at all, which is always a bit of a downside when we like to give you a negative to a board if we can. Value for money, they are a very competitive price point. They are a top end brand and they are not the most expensive iSUP on the market. So yes, very good value. I really hope you found that SUPboarder comparison video of the Red Paddle Co main ride range informative, and it helps you in those buying decisions. For more information about paddleboarding and techniques and other reviews, check out SUPboarder Mag. But until next time, we'll see you then or on YouTube. Thanks a lot.